To our daily devotion. Today we'll be looking at Psalms chapter 120. First, we'll have a brief overview of the psalm before we delve into a small point of reflection. So, turn to your Bible, either physical or digital, whichever is to your comfort, and let's get into it. So, looking at a brief overview of the psalm, this psalm was likely sung by pilgrims who were very frustrated with the people around them, frustrated that the people around them preferred wars instead of peace. So, from verses 1 to 4, the psalmist calls to God in distress and is asking God for deliverance from the deceitful tongues surrounding him. He is asking God for deliverance from those who are questioning his fate. And then from verses 5 to 7, he is lamenting that he is living among those who hate peace and that they prefer war. So this is the overview of the psalm. So we'll be focusing on the first verse, which is, I call on the Lord in my distress and he answers me. So focusing on this verse, what we can take away is that we have seen a lot of psalms before where the psalmist begins with a cry, begins with a lament, begins with a plea to God. Similarly in this psalm also, I call upon the Lord in my distress and he answers me. So following a similar theme in the previous psalm, here also the psalmist is calling upon the Lord. Now some of the previous psalm that we've seen, at the end he thanks God for, he's hopeful and he thanks God for the eventual answer that Lord will give him. But here the psalmist is saying right at the beginning, I call on the Lord in my distress and he answers me. So the psalmist has declared and he is saying that he's calling on the Lord and the Lord has answered. So what we can take away from here is that, similar to the takeaways from our previous psalm, is that God hears our cries and in his time, where in this psalm, the psalmist is talking after he has been delivered. So similarly, as God hears our cries, in his time, he will deliver us from our distress. So in our time, similarly, where we may feel lonely, isolated or struggling, where we feel like there is no one there, where we feel like there is no one by our side, this psalmist has similarly gone through a path where he is surrounding, the people around him are people who are deceitful, the people are hateful, and these are the people who prefer war over peace, meaning these people prefer the thrill of fighting, or even more so they prefer the glory from fighting rather than living in peace. So this psalmist was living amongst such people, and look at how he starts the psalm. He starts the psalm by saying, I call upon the Lord in my distress and the Lord answers me. So similarly in our lives there will be times where we feel like we are alone in our cry, we are alone in our struggles. But no, this is something we should always know, that even though we may not feel it at the present moment, even though we may not see it at the present moment, in this time the Lord will answer our distress, the Lord will answer our prayers, and the Lord will deliver us. And as we will see, and we have seen, and we had seen previously in our church, several testimonies. Similarly, the Lord will answer your call and you will stand testimony to his work that he has done in your life. So keep this in mind, that the Lord will answer your prayers in distress and he will deliver you. Thank you.